I never told my high school coach I faked that injury senior year because I was terrified of what would happen if I actually tried and still failed, and when he said you could have gone all the way, I just nodded and let him believe I'd been robbed, not that I'd quit. I was a senior when I faked it. The ankle, the grimace, the limping, all of it. But if you'd seen me that week, you would have believed it too. I had it down to. The tape job, the slow shuffle into the locker room, the fake wincing when I stepped wrong. Nobody questioned it because nobody thought I'd throw away my last shot. And I never told anyone. I went to East Valley High, a small public school outside of Knoxville. We weren't known for our academics or our campus, but we had a damn good football team. Friday nights felt like the whole town pressed into the bleachers. They sold chili in foam cups and played classic rock on a loop. I'd been playing varsity since sophomore year, mostly because we didn't have a deep bench. I was fast. Not the biggest guy, but I could slip between gaps and take hits better than most. Coach DeLuca called me the Ghost, said I moved like someone who wasn't scared of getting hit, which was funny considering how scared I actually was most of the time. I was decent. Good enough to start. Good enough to get a few mentions in the local papers when I had a big game. But during my senior year, something shifted. We were 5 games in undefeated. I was playing better than I ever had. I'd scored twice against Oak Ridge, one off a 40-yard run, and everyone lost their minds. I remember Coach pulling me aside after practice one Thursday, just me and him standing by the field fence while the sun dropped low. He said, "You keep playing like this, you're gonna get real attention. You got something, Tyler. You could go all the way." I laughed at first. Thought he was messing with me, but he looked dead serious. "You don't see it yet, but I do. Don't coast now. This is the moment." I nodded. I think I even said, "Yes, sir." But inside, something cracked. Because if he believed I had that kind of future, and I gave everything I had, and still fell short, what would that mean? I couldn't handle the idea of going all in, of working harder than ever, of giving everything, and then realizing I just wasn't good enough. That I wasn't special. Trying and failing? That scared me more than anything. So I faked the injury. It was a Tuesday practice. We were running drills and I waited until we switched to scrimmage. I planted my foot weird, dropped to the ground, and grabbed my ankle. Made sure my face looked tight with pain. I didn't overdo it. Just enough to make it seem real. The trainer helped me off. Coach asked what happened and I said, "Landed wrong. Feels sharp." "I don't know." They wrapped it, iced it, sent me home. The next morning I showed up with a limp. Said it still hurt. We had 2 games left before regionals. They shut me down for the season. I remember sitting in the stands while the team played without me. They put someone else in. We still won. Nobody ever accused me of faking it. Why would they? I was the guy with the most to lose. Coach DeLuca came over during the final game, sat beside me on the bench. He didn't say much. Just patted my shoulder and said, "You got robbed, son. But your time's not over. They'll still look at you." I nodded. Said nothing. No colleges came calling. I didn't apply anywhere big. Told everyone I was waiting until the ankle healed. But I didn't train anymore. I didn't run like I used to, because the truth was, once I took myself out of the game, I didn't want to go back in. I told myself I was just being smart, playing it safe. But really, I was scared. Scared of finding out I wasn't good enough. Scared that Coach had been wrong. Scared of proving myself. And failing. 10 years later, I saw Coach at the Kroger near my parents' place. He looked older, but still sharp. Same voice, same handshake. He smiled and said, "Damn shame what happened your senior year. You could have gone all the way." And I just nodded. Said, "Yeah, I think about that too." I wanted to tell him. Part of me was dying to just say it out loud, to get it out of my chest. But I didn't, because in his mind, I was still the kid who got unlucky. The one with potential who got robbed. And that version of me, that version was easier to live with than the real one. Coach DeLuca wasn't just my coach. In our town, he was the coach. The kind people named their kids after. Every Christmas he'd be in the parade, standing on the flatbed in a windbreaker while folks waved from the sidewalks. I think I wanted to be great more for him than for me. So running into him that day at Kroger wasn't just awkward. It spun me out. I thought about it the whole drive back to my parents' place. Sat in the driveway with the groceries going warm in the back seat. I kept hearing his voice, you could have gone all the way. I hadn't thought about football in years. I was a warehouse manager now. Solid job. Decent money. Nobody at work knew I'd ever even played. But something about seeing him, his certainty in who I'd been, what I could have done, it rattled me. That night, after dinner, my dad pulled out an old box from the attic. Said he found it while cleaning. Inside was my jersey. Number 22. A photo of me holding a trophy with my mouthguard still in. Clippings from the paper. At the bottom was a DVD. Game footage. Regionals, junior year. I thought you might want this, he said. I stared at it. Thought about throwing it away. But I didn't. The next day I called Marcus. He was our quarterback back then. We'd been close once, drifted after high school. He answered like I'd caught him off guard. Tyler, he said. Dude, I haven't heard your voice in a decade. I told him I was in town. Asked if he wanted to grab a drink. We met at Red's bar, same old place near the bowling alley. He looked older. A little heavier. Same laugh though. We made small talk for a while, jobs, family, all that. Then he leaned in. You know, he said, there were rumors. I froze. About your ankle. Back then, a few of the guys thought you faked it. I tried to keep my face steady. Who said that? Couple linemen. Kyle, maybe Seth. I didn't believe it. I mean, why would you do that? I shrugged. People say stuff. He took a sip of beer. Coach believed in you. Still talks about you. Said you were the best natural runner he ever coached. Said he felt like he failed you. My stomach turned. I felt hot. He said he failed me? Marcus nodded. Yeah. Said he pushed you too hard. Thought maybe he broke something in you. I didn't sleep that night. Because that was worse somehow. Coach thinking he broke me when really I broke myself. I didn't fake the injury to hurt anyone. I just couldn't deal with the idea that my best might not be enough. But now that lie had twisted into something else, it had hurt him. The one person who believed I could be more than I saw in myself. The next morning, I drove past the old high school. Just sat there in the parking lot, staring at the field. And that's when I saw him. Coach DeLuca. Jogging around the track. Same slow, determined pace he used when he ran laps with us during warm-ups. Like nothing had changed. I almost got out. Almost walked up to him. I had the words in my throat. But I didn't. Instead, I drove off. Again. I drove off, but I didn't go far. Ended up parked behind the old baseball fields where nobody would see me. Sat there for almost an hour, thinking about what Marcus said. Coach thought he broke something in you. It didn't sit right. It wasn't fair. He hadn't broken me. He believed in me more than anyone else ever had. And I let him carry the guilt for it. That should have been enough to make me come clean. But I couldn't. Because deep down, I still didn't know who I was without the lie. A week later, I was already back home in Ohio when I got the text from Marcus. Hey, just a heads up, coach collapsed after practice. Stroke, they think. He's at St. Mary's. I stared at the screen for a long time. Just numb. My first thought was selfish. Did he die thinking it was his fault? I called Marcus. He said coach was in critical condition, not responsive yet. Said the assistant coach was organizing visits, but only close people were being allowed in for now. Then he said something that hit harder than I expected. He asked about you, man. Couple days before it happened. Said he always wondered what you could have done if life hadn't screwed you. I couldn't sleep again that night. I kept pacing the living room, thinking maybe I should drive back. Tell him. Let him hear the truth even if he was out cold. Maybe that would count for something. But I didn't get in the car. I just kept pacing. Like I was still waiting for something, permission, courage, anything. Then I did something I hadn't done in years. I pulled out that old DVD. I don't even know why I still had a player, but I did. I sat there 2 a.m. watching 17-year-old me bob and weave down a field under cheap stadium lights. The tape wasn't perfect. Grainy. Glitched once or twice. But I saw it. I was good. Not flawless. Not supernatural. But there was something there. Speed, confidence, instinct. Then I noticed something else on the sidelines, Coach DeLuca, pacing with his arms folded, lips moving with every play. Like he was running it with me. He wasn't just proud. He was invested. He wasn't dreaming for himself. He was dreaming for me. 2 days later, Marcus texted again. Coach opened his eyes. Can't talk yet. But he's awake. I booked a flight. I told work it was a family emergency. Which, in a weird way, it kind of was. I didn't tell my parents I was coming back. I just landed, got a rental, and drove straight to the hospital. When I got there, the nurse said he was only allowed 2 visitors a day. His daughter had already come that morning. But she looked at me, saw something in my face maybe, and said, "Go ahead. Just for a minute." I walked into that room and he looked small. This man who used to stand in the center of chaos, barking plays, charging into huddles like a general, he looked like he was shrinking into the bed. But his eyes opened when he heard my name. Just a flicker. "Coach," I said, stepping closer. "It's me, Tyler." He blinked slow. His face didn't move much, but I could tell he recognized me. I sat down beside the bed, cleared my throat, and I said, "You didn't break me." His eyebrows twitched. Maybe a flinch. Maybe confusion. I swallowed. That year, senior year, the injury wasn't real. His eyes didn't change. Just stayed on me. "I quit, coach. I quit because I was scared. Scared that if I tried for real, if I really went for it and failed, then I'd have to live with knowing I just wasn't enough." My voice cracked. "You didn't fail me. I failed myself." He didn't move. Couldn't. But something in his eyes shifted just barely. I sat there for a long time after that, not saying anything else. Then I stood up and left. I never heard from him after that. No letter. No call. Not even a message through Marcus. Maybe he didn't remember. Maybe he did and just didn't know what to say. Or maybe that look in his eyes was all he had left to give. I tell myself I did the right thing by telling him the truth. That he deserved to know. But sometimes, late at night, I wonder if I should have just let him keep believing in the version of me he loved. The one who got robbed, not the one who ran from the chance. And I don't know which lie would have hurt him less.